These 5 zodiac signs can communicate with deceased relatives. Have you ever wondered why some people are able to hear the voices of those who have already left this world? Why are they the ones who pick up on signs, sense presences, and can talk to deceased relatives as if the boundaries between worlds simply do not exist for them? This is a mystery known only to a few, and the key to it is held by their zodiac sign. Today you will learn about the 5 signs that have been given the gift of a subtle connection with their ancestors. Their power lies in their special sensitivity and ability to open doors that ordinary people would not even dare to look into. This is not fiction, but part of their inner nature, which makes them conduits between the past and the present. Watch this video carefully, because you may be one of those who can hear the voices of their ancestors and receive guidance from those who are no longer physically present, but always close spiritually. Subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about the mysteries of the zodiac and gain knowledge that unlocks hidden powers. And write in the comments, do you believe that the dead can talk to us? Now let's lift the veil. Which 5 signs possess this mystical gift? The first sign is Capricorn. There is always a special edge to the structure of Capricorn's consciousness. It is not mysticism or fantasy, but the ability to pick up on the subtlest echoes from the past. For representatives of this sign, talking to departed relatives is not perceived as a miracle, but as a continuation of a dialogue that began during their lifetime. Their ability to incorporate order and discipline even into the realm of memory creates a stable channel where every word once heard from a loved one can return to them in their inner space. Capricorns perceive such responses as a clear structure. The voice becomes an inner advisor that does not dissolve, but continues to guide. Capricorn's ability lies in their unique inner strength. This strength allows them to withstand the pressure of memories and not be destroyed by the weight of someone else's experience. When others are frightened by the feeling that a shadow is standing nearby, Capricorn calmly analyzes it as a fact. They will never seek thrills or emotional outbursts. On the contrary, they filter everything that comes their way, turning it into a logical sequence. Therefore, a conversation with deceased relatives for Capricorn resembles strict and detailed advice, like a meeting with a teacher who returns to check the results of their teaching. For Capricorn, communicating with the departed is primarily a tool for building his own life path. He does not ask random questions, but seeks confirmation of what he is already doing. This is where his strength lies. He is able to hear exactly what has practical value. Relatives who are no longer in reality come to him as figures of control, as strict mentors. He knows how to ask questions accurately, and the answers that appear in his mind become the basis for his actions. The peculiarity of Capricorn is that he is not inclined to romanticize what is happening. If he hears an inner response, he will not convince himself that it is a figment of his imagination. His approach is sober. Either the voice carries meaningful information, or it is discarded. This ability to distinguish the valuable from the useless makes Capricorn a unique mediator. For them, talking to deceased relatives is not a secret ritual, but a natural process of maintaining a connection with those who continue to exist in their value system. Many people notice that Capricorns are able to feel the presence of their ancestors at important moments when a difficult decision needs to be made. They feel pressure that pushes them to take the right step. This invisible support is like a firm hand holding them back from the edge of the precipice. Capricorns accept this without panic, ready to use it. Their practicality makes this gift particularly effective. Instead of empty emotions, they receive concrete signals. Capricorn's strength lies in their ability to endure long periods of silence and solitude. It is at such moments that his consciousness opens up to a quiet dialogue with deceased relatives. He does not seek these contacts on purpose. They come when a person is ready. For him, this is natural. Memory becomes a mechanism where the past does not die but continues to function. Relatives who have passed away seem to know that Capricorn is capable of carrying their words forward. He preserves traditions, records every little detail, and makes it the foundation for the future. Therefore, Communicating with them is not an act of mourning for him, but a work of memory, where every word becomes a building block. If we look at Capricorn more deeply, we can see that they never break their inner connection with their family. This quality makes them a person whose past and present are united in a single foundation. When Capricorn makes decisions, they hear the inner chorus of those who lived before them, and this chorus never falls silent. To others, this may seem strange, but for Capricorn, it is a source of stability and confidence. This is why representatives of this sign stand out from the rest. They know how to talk to the departed as if they were communicating with living mentors. They are able to maintain contact throughout their lives, preventing their memories from fading. Their uniqueness lies in the fact that they turn communication with deceased relatives into a tool for survival and development, making it part of their own strength and inner architecture. The second sign is Aquarius. When it comes to Aquarius, you can't just look at their usual traits on the surface. They're built in a way that lets them pick up not only the emotions of living people, but also the impulses coming from those who left this world a long time ago. They're not afraid of the boundary that many consider insurmountable. For Aquarius, talking to deceased relatives is not an attempt to find comfort, but a way to complete the picture he has been collecting throughout his life. His mind is open. He does not get stuck in familiar patterns, and this is what makes his channel of communication clear and stable. Aquarius perceives such contacts as an intellectual exchange. Unlike other signs, he does not seek strict instructions or comforting words. He is interested in the structure of information itself, how the thoughts of a departed relative can be woven into his own reasoning. They are able to analyze such responses as if they were new facts and build a concept from them that helps them move forward. The uniqueness of Aquarius lies in the fact that they do not treat conversations with the deceased as a mystical experience, but as research that broadens their understanding of the world. Aquarius's strength lies in their ability to let different points of view pass through them. When confronted with the inner voices of departed relatives, they do not rush to dismiss them as illusions. They examine every word, every intonation, to understand what part of their ancestors' experience they carry. For them, it is like archiving the memory of the family, where each departed member leaves a digital imprint that can be read. In moments of silence, Aquarius feels his inner world filling with foreign thoughts that weave themselves surprisingly logically into his own. He accepts these thoughts not as imposed, but as material for further analysis. Conversations with deceased relatives become a form of internal dialogue for him, where he combines the past and the present, forming a holistic vision of the future. The peculiarity of Aquarius is that he knows how to ask the most unexpected questions. When he mentally turns to those who are no longer with us, he seeks not confirmation of his decisions, but new ideas. His relatives, as if continuing their lives after death, respond to him in the form of images or thoughts that stimulate him to create unusual solutions. Thus, communication with them becomes a generator of new ideas that rarely come to others. Aquarius is not afraid of inner chaos. On the contrary, he knows how to systematize even the strangest signals. Where another person would be frightened, he begins to explore. This quality makes them unique mediators. They are able to withstand the flow of information that comes from the depths of their family's memory and turn it into working concepts. There is no drama in this, only the rational use of a connection that others are not even able to recognize. For Aquarians, relatives who have left this life are not shadows or ghosts. They are a continuation of his own intellectual environment. He does not waste energy on fear or doubt. He uses contact as a source of inspiration. This is why Aquarians often become carriers of ideas that cannot be explained solely by their personal experience. Some of these ideas come from those who lived before them. His unique feature is his ability to remain objective. Even when talking to departed relatives, he does not lose his ability to critically evaluate what he hears. He can accept only those fragments that really help and weed out everything superfluous. Thanks to this, his gift does not lead him astray, but on the contrary becomes a powerful resource for development. Aquarius establishes contact with deceased relatives as if participating in an endless discussion where every thought is important, but none is the ultimate truth. He is able to turn these dialogues into an engine of progress that pushes him toward something new. And although for many such an ability seems like fantasy, for him it is a natural part of existence. It is this ability that makes Aquarius a person who can connect generations, preserving the continuity of thought and ensuring its movement forward, even when the physical connection no longer exists. The third sign is Gemini. Gemini have an innate ability to pick up on the subtlest vibrations between worlds, and it is this quality that allows them to sense the presence of departed loved ones even where others see only silence. Their minds are like the most sensitive conductors, capable of distinguishing weak signals that defy logic. When they are immersed in thought or in their usual daily activities, signs may appear. A faint voice, a sharp smell, a flash of memories, as if someone had deliberately touched their memory. The peculiarity of Gemini is that their connection with deceased relatives is not limited to dreams or rare flashes of sensation. They are able to maintain this connection longer than others. When they ask a question mentally, the answer often comes almost immediately, in an unexpected coincidence, in words heard from a random person, in an object that suddenly appears in their path. This connection is not a coincidence, but a stable ability to perceive the invisible as part of their reality. Gemini are characterized by duality, and it is this duality that plays an important role. Their inner dialogue allows them to hear not only themselves, but also those who have already crossed over. When external silence weighs heavily, they are able to hear a voice inside that does not belong to them. This voice brings comfort or guidance in crucial moments. Such moments prove that family ties are not severed by death. The strength of Gemini manifests itself in their ability to accept such signs without fear. They do not close themselves off, but on the contrary, are attentive and sensitive. This quality allows them to distinguish real connections from illusions. Their perception is like a radar detecting the slightest changes around them. Movements of air, rustling sounds, sudden cold. For them, all this is a way to understand that those who once left this world are nearby. Often, Gemini become those who are able to transmit such signals to others. Their energy acts as a bridge, and in their presence, loved ones also begin to sense the invisible. Relatives who are no longer with us seem to find a channel for communication in them. This explains why strange coincidences or sudden changes in atmosphere sometimes occur around Gemini. This ability is not a mystical gift in the usual sense, but a natural part of their nature. Their minds and hearts are always open to dialogue, even with those who have passed away. Therefore, it is Gemini who can afford to feel the support that comes from beyond the edge and accept it as naturally as the words of a living interlocutor. This makes them unique. They maintain a living connection with departed relatives where others feel only emptiness. The fourth sign of Pisces. For Pisces, the ability to communicate with deceased relatives is not something artificial or far-fetched. Their inner sensitivity is so great that any flicker of memory of a loved one turns into a clear signal that is perceived without distortion. Pisces do not need complex methods or external rituals. Inner concentration is enough for them to feel the presence of those who were once close to them. Their perception is such that the line between living and departed relatives is practically erased, turning dialogue into a natural process. Pisces pick up on the slightest nuances of emotion that come from memories of their ancestors. They are able to hear not only words, but also the emotion hidden behind them. This makes their contact with deceased relatives particularly deep. Instead of dry instructions, they receive rich emotional messages filled with care, pain, or joy. Pisces perceive this not as a figment of their imagination, but as a continuation of a real connection that remains even when the physical presence is no longer there. The strength of Pisces lies in their ability to trust their inner feelings. They have no doubt that the voice of a departed relative can manifest itself in silence, and they accept this as part of their reality. This is why their contact seems so vivid and authentic. Where others seek rational proof, Pisces are able to trust their feelings, and this trust opens up access to what is closed to others. For Pisces, conversations with deceased relatives are always emotionally charged. They are not limited to simple questions and answers. Their dialogue includes memories, smells, and images that arise in their minds as complete pictures. Pisces do not separate words from feelings, so they receive more than just information. They perceive a whole complex of signals that form an image of someone who was once close to them. The peculiarity of Pisces lies in their ability to turn contact with deceased relatives into a source of inner harmony. Where another person would feel fear or doubt, Pisces feel peace. They perceive such dialogues as support, as proof that the connection with their family is not broken. For them, this is not a way to escape reality, but on the contrary, an opportunity to strengthen themselves in it, knowing that they are not alone. This feature makes Pisces the keepers of memory. They are capable of holding not only personal memories, but also the emotional heritage of their entire family. Conversations with deceased relatives help them preserve these values and pass them on. Pisces are often the ones who unite the family around the memory of their ancestors, because their experience of contact confirms that the past continues to live on. Pisces are different in that they do not divide life into clear boundaries. For them, death does not mean the end of existence, but only a change of form. Therefore, they perceive conversation with deceased relatives as a natural part of the cycle. This view relieves them of unnecessary drama. For them, those who have passed away do not disappear, but continue to be present in a different capacity. Pisces are able to sense this presence and turn it into support that helps them to carry on with their lives. This is why people of this sign so often feel that those who are no longer with them are still nearby. They do not need external confirmation, because their inner feelings are sufficient proof for them. Their sensitivity turns memories into lively communication, where every word and every emotion retains its power. Pisces are able to perceive such dialogues as internal therapy. They have a rare gift for relieving tension by talking to departed relatives, and in doing so, they not only help themselves, but also strengthen their connection with those around them. Their openness to such experiences makes them a source of support for their loved ones, because they know how to convey the messages of their ancestors gently and respectfully. This is what makes Pisces unique. They transform communication with deceased relatives into the living fabric of their reality. This is not an attempt to hold on to the past, but an ability to make it part of the present while maintaining integrity and inner peace. Their gift is to hear those who are no longer here as clearly as they hear the living, and to use this connection to move forward with the confidence that memory and love never fade. The fifth sign is Aries. When it comes to Aries' inner strength, few people realize how far it extends. For him, the boundary between worlds is thinner than is commonly thought. His ability to concentrate and break through any barrier creates a special channel through which the voices of the departed can be heard. This is not fantasy or illusion. Aries is capable of sensing a real response from those who no longer belong to the world of the living. The secret lies in their straightforward energy. What seems like a fog to others becomes a clear signal to them. The peculiarity of Aries is that his connection with deceased relatives most often manifests itself through sounds and sharp impulses. an inexplicable ringing in the ears, a sudden word that flashes into consciousness, or the feeling that someone has touched his shoulder. These are all his ways of making contact. Where others experience only vague unease, Aries is able to grasp a specific message. It is important to learn not to ignore these moments. Aries' main tool is their will. When they direct their attention inward, it is as if they break through the wall between two spheres. Relatives who have passed away find a bridge in this energy. Their words may be fragmentary, but it is Aries who knows how to put them together into a coherent meaning. His strength lies not in seeing images, but in his ability to hear and understand the inner voice, as if it were a real interlocutor nearby. Aries' contact with the dead is often accompanied by a surge of physical sensations, rapid heartbeat, heat in the chest, or sharp clarity of thought. This is no accident. His body becomes a conduit, allowing foreign energy to pass through and be recorded. Therefore, Aries often receives warnings in advance through instant reactions of the body. Those who understand this feature can use it as a tool for deep communication. An important point is emotional directness. Relatives on the other side respond to the power of emotions. When Aries sincerely thinks about them, when he addresses them not with words but with real feelings, the contact becomes as accurate as possible. The response comes faster and clearer. Sometimes it manifests itself through dreams, but more often in the form of sudden thoughts that cannot be confused with the usual internal dialogue. This ability brings not only comfort, but also responsibility. Aries cannot turn to the departed out of empty curiosity. Their energy is too strong, and every call is answered. The more serious the motive, the deeper the signal received. This quality makes them a mediator for other family members, because sometimes the message is not only addressed to them. Aries is able to distinguish their own thoughts from sudden intrusions. Their attention is such that they immediately sense the foreignness of these impulses. Where another person would doubt and decide that it is just a coincidence, Aries understands. A connection has been established. Their task is to accept and preserve what they have heard so that it does not dissolve in the noise of everyday life. Sometimes this ability becomes a difficult test. Hearing the voice of the departed, Aries may feel the burden of responsibility. What to do with the information received, how to act correctly, to whom to pass it on. This burden requires maturity and the ability not to give in to impulse, but this is precisely where his strength lies. He knows how to act, rather than drowning in doubts. Relatives who are no longer around often choose Aries for contact because he does not hide from the truth. He is ready to hear what others find difficult to accept. His directness and inner fortitude guarantee that the message will not be distorted. This trust forms a special line of communication that cannot be closed or interrupted. Every Aries who notices such manifestations in themselves should know that this is not a coincidence or fiction. It is their innate ability, growing out of their strength of character. It makes them someone who is not only able to hear departed relatives, but also to convey their words further. This quality cannot be bought or developed artificially. It is already built into their essence and is just waiting for the moment to manifest itself fully.